Hello and welcome to another beginner's piano lesson here at LearnPianoLive.com. This is a beginner's lesson, so the assumption is you know nothing about piano. You don't know the letters, you don't know how to read music, you don't know any chords. If that's you, you're in the right place. We're starting at the very basics. So really the keys to this lesson is to ask a whole lot of questions. This is you and me, so you got to ask whatever questions you have so that I, as your teacher, can help you out and know what you need. Now, if you are an absolute beginner, you might want to check out the Absolute Beginners Lesson Pack in the video store, because that'll kind of walk you through some of the very basics that most beginning piano students have. It's free. Just go check it out in the video store. And there's a couple other things too that I want to talk to you about before this countdown clock hits 0. All right, first and most important, ask a lot of questions. The way that you're going to do that is there's a couple different ways. You can jump in the chat room and talk with the other students who are logged in at the same time. I'll be watching the chat room too. You can ask your questions there. Or if it's a question that's just for me, a question about the lesson, especially if you know it's one that's going to fit best at the question and answer time at the end, then you can just put your name and your question in the box below this video, click submit, and then I will get that. Now, if you're already in the archives, if you're watching this not live, but you're watching this in the archives, then make sure at the end of the lesson you click on the survey button. You don't have to fill out the entire survey. If you want to, I mean, I'd love your feedback, but really the best part of that is that you can put your question in there, and then when you click submit, then I will get all of your questions. I'll make sure that you get them answered, whether you're in the archives or you're live. Right next to this video, there should be a PDF button and an MP3 button. Now, you don't really need those till after the lesson because I'm going to be showing you on screen the PDF and showing you how to use it. And I'll play the MP3 during the lesson too, so you know at the end of the lesson how you're going to use that. Some people, though, like to print out the PDF ahead of time, so as I'm making notes on my version, they can make the same notes on their version, but it works either way. All right, this is perhaps the most important part. You need to leave the lesson when you feel like you're sufficiently challenged. So, I'm teaching these lessons, 12 to 15 lessons a month. Normally in traditional lessons, you're getting like a lesson every other week or so. So this is just way too much for you to take in. So, the goal is for you to get some little nugget of something that you can really practice on, really work on. Once you feel like you have that, then you really don't need anything else from me. Go practice. That's where this stuff is really gonna happen. You're not going to get through this lesson and be able to play something really well. You're going to get through this lesson and have the information that you need to practice more effectively. That's really the goal here. So don't feel bad about taking off early. If you feel like halfway through the lesson you got as much as you can take in at that time, then go practice that thing, and then come back whenever you've got that thing down, or you're bored with it, or you just want to check out the next topic. Don't forget also that you've got the archives too. So if you want to see one little thing, just repeat it over and over and over. Just give me, hopefully within 24 hours after the lesson, this thing will be up in the archives, so you can just go back and watch it over and over and over and over and just get that little segment down. All right, today we're doing everybody's favorite topic. Out of the 8 sectors of musicianship, the one that everybody always likes the most is application. That's where you finally actually get to play a song. So if you've been here for the last couple weeks, you'll notice a lot of the same concepts popping up today, because we're going to take those concepts, we're going to apply them to a very specific song. If you haven't been here, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to play all of our little concepts. So hopefully at the end of today's lesson, you'll have all the tools to practice an actual real song that you can play for your friends and impress them. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. So it is different once again, and we are redoing last week's lessons, Circle of Fifths. So those were broadcast and not recorded. So I'm hoping that this week these are being recorded as well, so we can throw these in the archives. So this new setup here, if you didn't get a chance to check out the broadcast we did where I just gave you a tour of the studio, then this new setup here, we're on the other side again, but now we're on a grand piano, and things are better and hopefully different for the last time. I say that, but we've been changing like every week, it feels like, for the last couple months. I think we're settled. We'll find out. It doesn't matter because the notes are the same no matter what side they're on. So let's try this thing. This is our track. And we have this from Beauty and the Beast. It's called Days in the Sun. That is all the chords for Days in the Sun. Now, obviously, this band is not, it's not like a Broadway band or anything. It's just a regular rock band playing through these chords at 116 beats per minute the whole entire time. Let's step back, though, and show you some of the details on this one. So 116 beats per minute, that just means that the tempo of like the beats, how fast the song is going to go, is about 116 beats per minute. That's the pace of the song. So in the actual, like, as with most Broadway songs, the tempo really changes a lot. So it'll go faster, and then it'll go slower, and then it'll speed up and slow down. So approximately 116, at least that's what your track is. Then we've just got a whole ton of chords. Now, usually when we do like just regular pop songs, something off the charts, then we'll deal with like maybe 16 bars of unique music, and this one's got all kinds of stuff. The theory lesson tomorrow is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk about key changes and all that good junk. But for right now, here's just all the chords in order. The first one that you would play would be a B flat right there. And then we'd play an F over B flat. So you know what this slash is right here. The right hand's going to play an F. I'll show you that in just a second. And the left hand's going to play a B flat by itself. So the right hand would play the chord, the F, and the left hand would just play the note B flat. So on a slash chord like this, so a chord with a slash in it, the bottom part of the fraction, the right here, this part right there is going to be the left hand. It's just going to be a single note. All right, so let's talk about some of these chords. Over here, all of these chords are listed. There's a ton of them. Usually, again, we have like maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 chords. On this one, we have 3, 6, 7 plus 6. We have 13 chords on this one. So this is a pretty massive undertaking. If this is your first song you've tried to cover, don't try to cover this. Try anything else first. The song's not particularly difficult. It's just long, and it's got just a lot of, it just keeps rambling on and on and on, and it doesn't repeat like most pop songs are going to. So we have, even though the lyrics do repeat, you got the words Days in the Sun over and over, but the notes that you have to play just aren't nearly as repeaty as most of them are. So let's talk about the B flat, because we talked about that one. Here's the B flat chord. So the way this works is if you like to read sheet music, then there are all the notes for you that you could possibly play for the B flat chord. But if you're more like me and you think in pictures more, this right here is your B flat chord. B flats, D's, and F's, and you can put in whatever B flats and D's and F's that you want. This is a B, so this one right here would be a B flat. That's your B flat chord. So that's a B flat chord, but you could also add in like this B flat and then this D up here, or even that F that's just off your screen there, or F's. Any B flats or D's or F's is what I'm trying to say, are acceptable. So any of this, you play all those or just a couple of them, just a few. Oops, that wasn't the chord. Any combination of B flats, D's, and F's for the B flat chord. And that's the way that all these chords are going to work. We're not going to go through all of these chords because that would take almost literally forever. But we will do the next one. So the next one is an F over B flat. So again, that F chord, we can go down to this next page. And that one right there is F and A and C. So that right there, that is the chord that you want. F and A and C. And you can play any other F's and A's and C's anywhere on the piano, including farther out, out here, F's and A's and C's, any of these F's and A's and C's. These are all allowed. You just have to try some of them out and see which ones you like. Most likely, you're going to want to kind of stay in the middle-ish range for the majority of the song, but some of these others might sound good at different times too. You just got to try them out. So that F chord is that, and then there was a slash B flat on there. Back up to here. So we have F over B flat. So just make sure the lowest note that you play is a B flat, a single lone B flat. That right there. And it sounds terrible. In context, it won't. The next one is E flat. So that's an E flat chord. And there's your B flat. So E flat slash B flat. E flat chord over the B flat note. So in the context of all this stuff, we have a B flat chord. It happens to have a B flat at the bottom of it. And then F over B flat, E flat over B flat. Doesn't sound so bad now, right? There we go. So that is all of the chords. They're all listed down below. So then, if you want, I know a lot of you, especially if this is a song that you're covering, you've probably done a bunch of these before. So this is the way that I'm thinking of it. We are in the key of B flat, and I'm just thinking about what chord numbers are being used. So this is, booby. Where's the other page? Oh, no way. When I deleted it, yeah, okay. Really? Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to get you the rest of these pages. If you're in the archives, yours is already fixed, but hang on just a second. Okay, just kidding. It's all perfectly fine. So the way that it works is if you get this wonderful idea to put the pages all right next to each other, then you have to go over that direction to get to the other page. You can't just always scroll down. Yeah, so these other pages that we're missing are actually right here. So right here, we've got all of these same exact chords, but they're now in numbers on this page. So if we're in the key of B flat, a 1 chord would be a B flat chord. How would you know that? You just have to know the key of B flat. So again, this is only if you are here from like the advanced lessons and you've been to several lessons before. This is not for the faint of heart. But this is actually, I've got a lot of you guys know Kendra. She does a lot of work here, and she's going to be covering this song with somebody else. And so they want this song, though, because they're singers, and singers are like this. They want it in the key of G instead of the key of B flat. So it's not going to work for me to memorize all of these chords and play all these chords, a B flat chord, and then an F and an E flat and a B flat. That might sound fine when I'm playing along with the actual like Beauty and the Beast track, but it would not work at all for playing with them. So I need to be thinking numbers, chord numbers, in order to play with them, or just transpose all of them ahead of time. I'm not going to go through all that work. So now I'm playing in the key of G, a 1 chord, G, 5 over 1, 4 over 1, to a 1 chord, to a 5, to a 4 over 1, to a 1. If that made no sense to you and you're like, what in the world is he doing? I thought I showed up for a beginner's lesson. Then never mind. That's just for the non-beginners who showed up to your beginner lesson to hijack it. How dare they? Let's move on to the other parts of this. So this right here is going to be the key of B flat. Now, this is a place where you will need to use some numbers. So key of B flat looks like this. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1. And those are your numbers. It's going to be really good to, if you want to play the melody on this thing, to get really familiar with the numbers in the key of B flat. B flat, key of B flat just means B flat is number 1. And it follows this like swoopy pattern here that I've laid out for you. That thing right there. So you've got B flats on the ends as your 1s. And of course it continues after that too. So you got like a 2 right there and a 3, because every time you have a 1, the pattern just resets. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hopefully that made some sense. So then we've got all those numbers. And then once you get really familiar with those numbers, then you can just say those words right there and play the numbers that are on top of them, and it will sound like the song. And in fact, you will be able to play along with the original, like with the movie. So you do Days in the Sun. That's 3, 3, 5, 3. 3, 5, 1, 7, 3, 3, 5, 3. 3, 5, 1, 7, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, 5, 1, 7, 6, 5. So we do that with some chords underneath. That's a lot of work. Let's wait until tomorrow to do that. But theoretically, you should have all of those right there. Now, I told you this song is super duper weird, and also super duper weird is this layout here. It's really freaking out my brain. There we go. So this song goes through, and then later on, we've got right here. It looks like the song stopped, and then I'm teaching you something new. That's not the case at all. The song goes straight from the word free to the word days. But they change keys right in the middle. And tomorrow we'll talk more about what it means to change keys. But for you today, what that means is that 1 is no longer on B flat. After the word free, then you're supposed to change to the key of A. And the key of A, again, this is not a great song for a beginner lesson because usually we don't have a change of key in the middle of a song. That almost never happens. It's happening today. So in the key of A, now we've got to change all of our numbers. Now this is number 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, yeah. So then we change all of the numbers around, and then we finish off the song here. There's just 4 lines. So then we've got 6, 6, 1, 6, 6, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 7, 5, 3, 1, 3, 1, 5. Yes. 1, 6, 6, 1, 6, 6, 1. All the way up to high 6. It's just barely off of your chart there, off your screen. It would be this note right here. 6 down to 7, 1, and that's the end of the song. So that is the part that they are singing. And then if you're like, well, I wish I had like the chords but over the words, then ta-da, my friends. Ta-da, you've got it right here. So this is the lead sheet. This is does not tell you any of the rhythms of like how long to play the chords. It just tells you what word you're supposed to change chords on. So once you get familiar with all those first chords, then you can play like a B flat, F over B flat, E flat over F. That should be B flat. We'll change that for the archives. B flat, F, E flat over, again, B flat. And then Days in the Sun. This F over B flat is on its own, not with any word. When my life, right on life is when we change to that one, has barely begun. Again, F over B flat over no words. Not until my whole life is done, F over no words. Will I ever leave is G minor. You. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so those were B flats up there. Leave, you, E flat, F are both by themselves over no words there. So hopefully one of those three things is really helpful for you, or just like getting a couple of these chords down. If you can start working on, you know, playing, for example, an F with a B flat on the bass, that's something right there. Like that's slash chords. Bam, you're already better than you were. Or getting just down to the B flat chord, just being able to like land a B flat, just like walk away from the piano, come back, bam, there's my B flat chord. That's one of the 24 chords that you'll need, and then you're done. Now, we do need to go through we need to go through a couple of chords here that are really super weird and aren't on your chart. So if you already got what you needed, then cool. Ignore this next part. It will not be as important. But there are some weird chords in here later on, right in here. So you got a D sus and a D diminished. Now, after you know that D chord, right there, you got D, F sharp, and A. Again, these are not listed on the next page because they're kind of special chords. Mostly in this beginner's lesson, we're interested in the major chords, the minor chords. But this right here is your D major chord. Take any major chord, including a D major chord, and take the middle note, the 3 of the chord, not the name of the chord, but the next note up. Take that one up a half step, meaning instead of playing that note, play that note right there. That is called a D suspended, which we shorten to D sus. And that is that bad boy right there. D sus. Also sometimes in pop charts called a D sus 4. Or like if you go to ultimateguitar.com and look up a song on there or something, then sometimes I'll have D sus 4 or G sus 4 or something like that. That's that chord right there. And then D dim. Dim is short for diminished. So what you would do is your D minor chord, you're learning elsewhere in the song. So D, F, and A. Now you're going to take the last note, that one, which we call the 5. That would be called the 1. That'd be called the 3. That'd be called the 5 of the D minor chord. When we're on the D minor chord, the 1 of the D minor chord is D. The 3 of the D minor chord is F, because this one would be like the 2 in there, but we're not playing that one. And then the 5 would be this one, because we're not really playing the 4 in this. Okay, so that's your D minor chord. If you take any minor chord and take the 5 down a half step, you come up with a D diminished chord. So B flat minor, I think we have that one elsewhere in this song. I'm just giving you another example here. That would be your B flat minor. And then if you take that 5 down a half step, that would be your B flat diminished chord. Taking a minor chord, take the 5, lower it by a half step, and you come up with your diminished chord. So this line right here, D, D sus, D diminished, back to D. D, D sus, D diminished, D, D. That is that feel right there. I think that is it for the chords. You got that one weird chord, and then there's a couple weird little things in the right before the key change here. right in here. So we've got all these hashtags in here. And so this right here is a sharp 6. The hashtag means sharp, and that means just play it slightly higher than you would otherwise. So again, in the key of B flat, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're back to 1. All those ones right there. Let's go back to the key of B flat so you can see that. Again, your chart is right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So then a sharp 6 would be if you took the 6 and you just went up a little bit. That right there would be your sharp 6. So that note right there is the one that you're supposed to play when it says sharp 6. A sharp 5, on the other hand, would be if we took the 5 and we raised it a half step. So that one right there would be a sharp 5. So this one right here would be a sharp 5. That would be a sharp 6. Okay, cool. So then if we go back to our song here, we'd go from I. That would be a sharp 5. That was that one. Can feel are just regular 6s. Can feel. A change are both sharp 6s. And then 2 7s. There we go. So that is all of those ones. We also have a sharp 1 showing up right here. There we go. I thought we had it earlier in the song. Maybe not. Come on, buddy. Nope. Oh, there it is. Haha. So we got a sharp 1 right there and a sharp 4 right there. So then a 1 would be like B flat in the key of B flat. And so a sharp 1 would just be that one right there. Because it's just a half step up from the 1. In this case, the 1 was a black note, so you're going to a white note. In all the other ones we've had so far, you were on a white note and you sharped it and you went up a little bit, which landed you on a black note. This one's going to be another example of the first thing, the other thing, where your 4 is a black note. And so we want to take that up a half step. Right there. That's going to be your sharp 4. So, out of reach of my arms. That's your sharp 4. That's your sharp 1. Okay, cool. Well, let's do our wrap up, and then we'll get to your questions if you have any. So going backwards, we talked about. Actually, let's actually do go backwards. Start at the end. I gave you all of these ones here, which is just playing the chords, putting the chords on top of the words. So that if you know the song and you can sing through it, then it'll tell you exactly when to switch chords based on the words that you're on. The cases where that's not true is like right here on the interlude where there's no words at all. Then you just kind of have to like hear those sections if you know those sections well enough. If you don't, there's nothing on this page that can help you because you have to already know the rhythms in order to use a lead sheet. So that's one of the drawbacks of the lead sheet. It doesn't really give you any rhythms. Over here, we talked about a key change. Briefly talked about how we're changing to the key of A for just that last little section and how the rest of the song is in the key of B flat. We talked about how to sharp the 6 and sharp the 5. And then we just say the words and play those numbers and then you're set. And then over here, we've got all of the chord numbers so that you don't have to necessarily put it in a single key, which is going to be more confusing for a lot of people than helpful. So a lot of people won't even use that. But if you've done, especially if you've done like level 5 songs before from the kids' lessons when we imported that material, if you like the level 5 stuff, all those chords are just like the level 5 stuff. This right here is both the sheet music and the graph for every chord that is in this song, with the exception of the D sus and the D diminished chords. Yeah, so we've got all the majors and minors on that page. It's a whole ton of chords. There's only 24 chords total, major and minor, like anywhere in the universe. So once you know these chords right here, you're like halfway done with music. So you don't really have to get through all of these chords in order to like, this isn't a normal first song. But once you know those, then almost every chord that you'll see, at least half, more than half of the chords that you'll see from here until forever, you will have already dealt with before. So if this song took you like 3 years to finally be able to play, then that would still be worth it, because that would mean that you could learn all of your chords within 6 years. 3 years is a long time to spend on one song. I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying there's a ton of material here. don't get overwhelmed here. If it feels like I can't even play this one stupid song from Beauty and the Beast. How hard could it be from Beauty and the Beast? Hard. So then over here we've got just all the same chords, the same sounds in the key of B flat written out as chords, the actual chord symbols. So you don't have to know the numbers on those. And we talked about how 116 beats per minute is the speed of this thing. That's what you would set your metronome to if you were going to practice along with a metronome. And the track that you have is at 116 beats per minute. It's kind of fast. So you might want to set your metronome to something much lower or not even use a metronome at the beginning because, because it's crazy fast. Let's get to your questions. We have, who sings this in the movie? It's, I just saw it last night. It's a couple different people. There's a boy at the beginning who's supposed to be Beast, I think. And then, I don't know. The main characters. Next question. I'm sorry. I don't know if you're wanting to look it up. If you just look up search for Beauty and the Beast 2017, then this will be like the top 27 results. I promise. Whoever that is singing that one, that's who's singing this one. Can you do the diminished chord from the middle? Yes. This one right there from the middle of the song. I hope. Yes. So this one right here, this is the diminished chord that's in the middle. Is the D diminished. So it's a D minor chord with a lowered 5. That right there is D diminished. So that was that whole section right there. Okay. Hopefully that's what your question was. And scroll down the bottom. That looks like that is it. So that should be all the questions from today. If you have more, or if you're in the archives, then just send them along, and I will get them answered either in a live lesson or most likely privately. But thanks for being here. You know I love you. Good luck. Till next time, have fun.